Hey family, my name is Jomo.
And I'm Charmaine.
Family, what we're doing tonight is we're doing a current event. I know y'all are ready for Friday Night Live, but what we thought about all the news that's going on with relationships, we were going to deal with some real life issues that people are watching in the news right now. So Charmaine was talking about Cardi B and her husband Offset. And she had a incredible opinion about it. So I said, you know what? This is something that we want to talk about, because what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're real, raw, and relevant. Talking about current events and current issues that people are talking about and dealing with in real life relationships.
Well, I read the article from VanityFair.com about Cardi B filing for divorce, and I had some takeaways and I had some thoughts on it and just wanted to share with you, because I feel like as a couple, trying to keep our marriage strong, you can learn from any marriage.
Correct.
And especially if you've had ups and downs in your marriage, you can learn from those mistakes.
Absolutely.
So the first takeaway that I thought about when I read the article was, as a man, you cannot control when a woman comes onto you, but you can control how you respond. And I think it's real messed up when any guy chooses a side piece over his family and his wife.
No debating there. Side pieces are not supposed to be on the menu.
Right.
You can have a full course meal at home, and there's a lot of things that go into side pieces and those kind of things. Ultimately, when you make a commitment to your spouse, you're supposed to be till death do you part.
Right.
And I understand sometimes the stresses and the pressures that come with celebrity. And you just have to be cognizant that you have to be careful, because see, that situation does not change. Right. If you're in the limelight, people are always coming at you. So you have to have a deeper conviction about what you believe and what you want to stand for if you want your relationship to work, because those opportunities will not stop coming.
Right. I was thinking too, and this is just a thought, I don't know if this is true or false, but in their situation, I know that both of their careers are huge, and they may not spend a lot of time together based off of what their schedules are.
Travel.
So it could leave a foothold for the enemy to come into your relationship when you don't spend as much time together. You have to be more creative, and more trust has to be built between the two of you, or I would think it would be pretty stressful. But then I was thinking, you can't really use it as an excuse to cheat, because both of them were famous when they got married. So they knew what they were getting into, and they still pledged till death do us part. So, at the end of the day, you can't use it as an excuse.
You know what I thought about? They may be married, but they may not have done vows.
I don't know. We don't know.
In reference to, okay, it could be they got married because she got pregnant. Right. I mean, we know a lot of situations where people just mask the pregnancy in a marriage, thinking that sometimes the marriage may help it don't work.
In the article, it did state that right before, like December before they got married, a sex tape came out that he was on. Yeah. And then months later, she announced that she was pregnant. So that could be the case. Or she could have gotten pregnant right after they reconciled. Who knows?
Well, what we do know is that both of them have a history.
Right, right.
And with a history comes a lot of baggage. I know he had a few kids, and I'm not against having kids before you get married to someone else. All I'm saying is that was a part of the package that you have. Right. And what we have to understand, especially with those two high-powered traveling people, is you have to really carve out time for your relationship. And that's why it's very difficult for high-level people to stay together, because everyone's on their own agenda.
Absolutely. And you have to surround yourself with like-minded people, people that you are aspiring to be like, or people that are like you. So if you want to be out there, then you have to surround yourself with people out there, or the people around you are going to make you feel really uncomfortable. So I have to question who they were surrounding themselves with, and were those people holding them accountable to what their goals were. And if their goals were to have a strong marriage, then the people that are around them would have supported that. Let us know in the comments section what you think could have happened, or what you could do as a married couple to keep a strong marriage. Give us some suggestions.
You know, I thought about the message of get away from people who have your problem and get around people who have your solution. Meaning, if you want to be in a healthy marriage, so surround yourself with healthy marriages. If you want to be single, surround yourself with singles, because you will eventually flow in that direction.
I also hate to see two people that could work things out or could have worked things out get a divorce. We never want to see divorce. That's not something that we wish on anybody.
Absolutely. Very painful.
And in the article, I thought it was interesting that Cardi B mentioned that they sought out spiritual guidance and they prayed together, and they decided to be each other's ride or die, pretty much. Us against the world is what she said in the article. And they were trying to get like a fresh start. Wait a minute. Hold up. I know some of you are sitting here listening to this and thinking, Cardi B has ratchet music, she dresses inappropriately, she's getting what she deserves. And at the end of the day, we don't know Cardi B. She could be the biggest giver in her community, she could be the largest tither at her church, and we cannot put one sin over another. So we can't be God, and we're not going to be God in this situation. We're just trying to get some takeaways from what we could do better and what we can learn as a community from them separating.
Well, the key aspect with it, especially with this situation, I have to ask the question, do you know what it is to be married? Do you understand the commitment that goes into marriage?
Right.
Do you understand the vows? Do you understand what love is and what love isn't? And so many marriages are marriages of convenience and not covenant.
Right. And you also made a point of saying that it takes two people to make a marriage work. One person can't be running and going and running the race for both of you. It takes two people coming together and wanting a marriage to work for it to work.
Totally.
Yeah. The last takeaway that I took from the article was the fact that it's very upsetting when you see somebody go outside of their relationship to fulfill an unmet need. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be sex. It could be anything, any unmet need. It could be attention, communication. It could be anything that's lacking versus communicating to the other spouse and saying, hey, I recognize this is something that we're lacking because it feels good when I get it from XYZ. And I'm not talking about touching or intimacy. I'm talking about a conversation, a compliment. Sometimes in the workplace, you can get a compliment from someone and it may feel too good. And when a compliment starts feeling too good, you know that that's something you need to dig a little bit deeper in, get in your prayer closet about, because if it feels too good to get a compliment from the opposite sex, then that may be something that you're lacking in your relationship. And that may be something that you need to work on and communicate to your spouse so you can work on it together. You made a good point about unmet needs. What did you say, babe?
Well, unmet needs get met. I'm saying it again. Unmet needs get met. The question is, do they get met at home or do they get met on the street? Now, I don't know them personally, so I can't speak in reference to what the unmet need is. I do know, as a former athlete, that there's a lot of things that are available to a person with celebrity status. There's women who will give you what you want, when you want, how you want, at any issue, at no issue. There's no rebuttal, there's no no's. So with that, if you are going to be married to a person with a certain level of exposure, you better get your mind right. That don't put yourself in an environment where there's a competition. Now, I know they say, well, Jomo is not a competition, he married. Listen, you can be married, but there's still people trying to get with your spouse.
I remember when Jomo was in the NFL, I would go into the hotels and the lobby would be full of women waiting on these guys to come out of the elevator or come into the lobby from a game, or they would be waiting outside the locker rooms. And I was just always thought, you know, if you get with a man that is married, and let's just say he just loves whatever you're giving him so much that he happens to leave his wife for you, how do you then ever trust him that he won't do the same thing to you?
Well, I think that it's a misnomer that all men want is sex.
Right. I agree.
Now, it is a critical in part of it, but it's not it. So you have to balance it. I mean, because the Bible speaks in Proverbs about an adulterous woman, how she perfumes her bed, how she dresses, how she smells, how she speaks to. So if I know that the adulterous woman, the woman that's going to come after my man, is going to smell good, look good, and sound good to his ear, I cannot be the opposite of that.
Right.
Because when you become the opposite of that, now you have set yourself up for failure. I've counseled people before, and I said, listen, baby girl, you better get your life together. And I'm not saying that you're doing wrong. I'm just saying if you're going to have strikes, and you're going to say you're not going to have sex, and we're not doing this, and we're not doing that, well, just understand what you may be availing yourself to, because you may say no, but many will say yes. Now, I'm not saying you do anything that is against your will. I'm just saying you guys should agree, but I do know that you should be willing to try.
Right.
Let me do that.
Try new things.
That's all I'm saying.
If this is the last person you're supposed to have sex with
Jesus,
in your entire life.
Now, based on videos I've seen with them too, I think they probably tried everything. I'm just saying.
So that probably wasn't the issue in their relationship?
I think I don't think that was the issue. I think, and I tell people this all the time, understand it's hard to be married. Please hear me. It is hard to remain faithful to your spouse if you do not have God. Now, I know people with God, and it's still hard. So just let me clarify. You can say, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I see it over and over again. Beautiful women. Halle Berry, they still cheating on Halle. If you cheat on Halle, to God be the glory. It's not about how a person looks. It's about availability. It's about access. It's about communicate. All those things that we don't think is a big deal.
It's about God. Your relationship with
Jesus. I remember Charmaine said this to me one time. She said, Jomo, I'm not worried about you. Whatever you do on the streets is between you and God. And that really got me in reference to it, made me think differently. Now, I'm not saying that I was on the streets running like that. But I'm not saying I'm perfect either. Just to make it clear. But I'm just saying in that area, it recalibrated my thought process, because it's right. Whether you do those things on the street or not, at the end of the day, God knows.
We love to see marriages flourish, and it's upsetting when you see someone getting divorced, even when you don't even know them.
No, it's painful.
But I wish both of them the best, and I want to hear your takeaway. If you get a chance, and you've already, because it's everywhere. It's on TMZ, it's on the news, it's on every news magazine. Everybody's all up in their business. So give us your 2 cents in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, love, laugh, and learn.
God bless you.
God bless you.